nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Glad to have you join us again on another package of House Tickets as we enlighten you on the processes of lawmaking and representation in the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. The lawmakers are on a 6-week recess, which commenced on Thursday, 27th July 2023. This, however, does not affect other duties they have been mandated to do at the committee level as well as the constituency front. Towards this end, the Adhoc Committee, set up to investigate the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System (IPPS), was on duty last week as it listened to the Federal Ministries, departments and agencies, Parastatals and Tertiary Institutions in order to scrutinize its mismanagement practices, personnel recruitment, amongst other things. The Adhoc Committee on the recent hike in petrol pump price was also busy last week, investigating the matter and related issues. Details of these meetings make up this episode of House Tickets. Please stay tuned.
I want to assure you today that I shall be just and fair to every one of you, irrespective of perceived differences.
Welcome back. We'll begin with a report on the resumed investigative hearing of the Adhoc Committee set up to investigate Federal Ministries, departments and agencies, Parastatals and Tertiary Institutions on mismanagement, personnel recruitment, employment racketeering and gross mismanagement of the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System (IPPS), held between Monday, 31st July and Tuesday, 1st August 2023. Details of the report as presented from our studio coming up shortly. Please don't go away.
I think this is a continuation of our hearing, so we don't need to go too much protocol.
During its continued hearing on Monday, the 31st of July 2023, the Adhoc Committee set up to investigate federal ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, parastatals and tertiary institutions on mismanagement, personnel recruitment, employment racketeering and gross mismanagement of Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System (IPPS). Had before it the chairman of the Federal Character Commission, Dr. Muibat Dankaka.
I wish to refer to the sitting of the committee on Wednesday, 26 July 2023, and the allegation raised by some commissioners and decision of the committee that I should forward my response with documents to the committee. In compliance with this decision, therefore, I hereby submit my response to each of the allegations raised with relevant documents and for the committee to pursue for appropriate action.
Will equally be fair to the other commissioners who have raised serious allegations against the chairman of Federal Character. The chairman equally, in her response last week, have equally accused those other commissioners of selling slot plus buying house in credit to finance it with slot. And I'm very sure it is put together in her own response here. While we give you time to respond, we will give them from now till Friday to equally respond to the response of the chairman of the Federal Character as well as the accusations made against them.
There were some revelations on employment and IPPS within the commission during the interactive session.
You were employed when?
2021, sir.
2021?
Yes, sir. I did my IPPS October 14, 2021. And ever since then, I've been making requests for my posting, and he kept on posting me, especially Kolo, who gave me the appointment letter. Whom he convinced me to be the executive chairman's special aides, of which I'm convinced because of his influence. So we keep on disturbing him. When will we be posted? He promised us 2 months. After 2 months, by December, we asked him, he still said, there are other colleagues that were...
Sorry. You are employed.
Yes, sir.
IPPS captured you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you receiving salaries?
I receive salaries, sir.
In the process of recruitment, 24 people came and they said they have been employed. 24 people. So later we now learned that a staff of Federal Character Commission surreptitiously issued letter of appointment to this category of people, 24 of them, surreptitiously took them to IPPS for capturing, and ever since they have been receiving salary, we are able to know at the level of Federal Character Commission when we're about to start our proper recruitment. This set of people came. They said they have been recruited since last year by one Mr. Kolo. So when we sat at the Appointment and Promotion Committee, we found out that this Kolo actually extort money from innocent Nigerians, 1.5 million for some, up to 2 million. Then they issued a letter of appointment, took their names to IPPS, they've been receiving salary. They themselves are surprised that they are not posted to anywhere. So they came that please post us somewhere where we will be working. We cannot be receiving salary in vain. When we now got all this information, we sent letter to AMCOM, where Kolo is currently working. He didn't come. So we now recommend, as part of our recommendation to the chairman, that pass these things to DSS and ICPC for further investigation.
When we got there, to go to the commission, I found out that we don't have protocol, somebody that will be in charge of our traveling. I requested from the secretary to give us somebody. This Kolo, Adhoc Kolo, had been with the system more than 10 years before we came. And then he gave us Adhoc Kolo to be to be with us so that when we want to travel, somebody will be at the airport. But surprisingly, we later learned that, I just learned about it now, it's not more than 3 weeks, that the Kolo is the IPPI, the desk officer in our office, unknown to me. The letter that went out is they forged my signature.
In the accusation against her and her response, I have seen other commissioners mention Haruna Kolo in their petition. Am I right? Now I am hearing the chairman federal character. We are hearing the chairman federal character disowning Kolo and equally making reference to IPPS. So we should not put our mind at one person. We are to investigate institutions. So I'm interested in the mentioning of IPPS as well as Kolo Haruna being a tax officer of IPPS. We have other agencies. We have a lot.
The head of service of the Federation, Mrs. Folashade Yemi-Eson, also appeared before the committee same day.
We have our presentation here. The presentation is adopted and we submit it to the committee.
Still on the same day, the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, Mr. Ben Akabweze, appeared before the committee but was asked to submit relevant documents to the committee between Tuesday, August 1st and Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023.
We have not any extensive submission other than our own, the nominal role for the budget office.
It's just to emphasize that give us those documents we require. If there is any responsibility you discharge in terms of approval, like Chief has equally emphasized, you put them together to us, maybe between tomorrow and next, so that we study them. When we interact with some of these MDAs, where we need to see you and ask questions to give us clarification on your document vis-a-vis the one submitted by other agencies, we will gladly require your presence here. You may wish to take your leave while IPPS.
The last appearance before the committee on the day was the Director of Information of IPPS, Mr. Emma Diko, who appeared for himself and the Accountant General of the Federation.
IPPS is integrated personnel and payroll. I want to emphasize that. So personnel come before payroll. You cannot payroll without the personnel. I am saying this because certain things that were said here, that the IPPS is as if IPPS is an omnibus person. No, it's just a department in the Accountant General's office. And so nothing is done there without the collaboration of these people that have spoken here. I am very happy that we listened to all these people today. And if you heard what they said, you will understand that we don't operate without their guidance.
We are not witch hunting. It is not our practice here to harass or intimidate citizens, our leaders, on whose mandate we got here. No, that's not our intention. These investigations will, at the end of the day, enrich your system. We will all benefit from it. It is meant to improve our system. 6 agencies this week, so that
Tuesday, August 1st, 2023, saw the Accountant General of the Federation, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Modeyin, and the Director of Information Technology and Infrastructure Solution of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, Dr. Abdullahi Usman, appearing before the committee.
For today, we have the summary of the MDAs total, monthly salary and staff count on IPPS. We are to submit for the years 2015 to 2023. But as you have rightly mentioned, the quantum of the document is quite large. So we have submitted it in soft copy, but we have that of current year here in hard copy from January to July 2023.
We are asked to submit our employment records from 2015 to date. All relevant documentation were submitted. I just want to briefly outline in numbers. We want to apologize again. What we should have done was to submit a document with table of content as well as a bit of a summary. We apologize, we haven't done that.
I would want us as a committee to work with documents. Let's allow them to supply us with the document we study from A to Z, even as requested by Honorable Wale Oke. Then we do it at once instead of going piecemeal. And NITDA should appear with the Director General on Monday.
Notice.
Thank you.
The program is House Tickets. In the first part of the program, we saw the continued investigation by the Adhoc Committee set up to investigate federal ministries, departments and agencies, parastatals and tertiary institutions on mismanagement, personnel recruitment, employment racketeering and gross mismanagement of the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System, IPPS. House Tickets will continue to keep you updated on the progress from the committee. The Adhoc Committee on the recent hike in petrol pump price also had sit-ins on the 1st and 2nd of August, where it met with the leadership of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, CBN, and other stakeholders. Let's get details of their meeting.
Stabilize our prices with our neighboring countries.
The House of Representatives Adhoc Committee on the recent hike in petrol pump price held its investigative hearing between Tuesday, August 1st and Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023. The chairman of the committee, Representative Babajimi Benson, while delivering his welcome address at the commencement of the hearing on Tuesday, shed light on the objectives of the committee.
The committee is confident that government mean well for Nigerians and have its justification for this action. This is what we want to hear at this investigative hearing. Nigerians need to understand the rationale behind this action, but beyond that, they need to be assured that this price hike will not have more devastating effect on their livelihoods. We need to be able to convince Nigerians that their interests will always be protected.
Appearing before the committee on Tuesday was the leadership of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, led by its national president, Elder Chinedu Okworonkwo, and the managing director of Gas Analytics and Solutions, Brian Amonu. During his presentation before the committee, the national president of IPMAN gave a background of how the removal of subsidy came to be.
During the PIA, it's PIA and then it was PIPP. We were here, and we felt that the only way for this country to make meaningful progress is to move to removing the subsidy so that government can save money for other critical assets of the nation. It was agreed and eventually it was passed into law to start by the, I think, second quarter of this year, by June. And by June, it did happen that government will no more support regulation of petroleum products, and the sector was deregulated.
Elder Okworonko spoke further on the efforts made by the IPMAN and before the removal of the subsidy.
Nations that have transited from depending on petrol, PMS, AG, or whatever, have also transited to CNG usage. So for us in IPMAN, after the passage of the PIA bill, we started looking for an alternative so that we can still remain in business. That in itself led us to discovering a group, that is why we brought him here, called Gas Analytics and Solutions, that have the knowledge, the wherewithal to deploying this CNG so that the masses of this country will not feel the shock of the removal of this petroleum subsidy.
Fuel subsidy is 100% unsustainable.
On his part, the managing director of Gas Analytics and Solutions, Brian Amonu, during his presentation before the committee, said that there has been preparation by his company and IPMAN ahead of time based on the fact that subsidy is 100% not sustainable.
We've been preparing for this discussion. We've been preparing to respond to the far-reaching impact of fuel subsidy removal. We didn't start this preparation today because we knew that fuel subsidy is 100% unsustainable.
Following an interactive session between the committee, IPMAN, and the MD Gas Analytics and Solution, the committee chairman and IPMAN president tried to give a summary of the interaction.
IPMAN seem to agree with the fuel increase, but they believe there could be succor by adding CNG, by having an alternative which comes in the form of the CNG. Is that correct?
Let me put it the way so that it will sound well. IPMAN is not interested in price increase. Rather, we are interested in the removal of subsidy. Tomorrow, the price can also go down or up. So talking about price increase, as if we are happy with it, we are suffering too. What we are saying, that subsidy removal, we are not against it. And we are ready to run with it. While running with it, We're also providing other solutions that will also reduce the stress and the heat.
Two of them will calculate and give you exactly the strength that will carry the load you want to put on top.
Meanwhile, at the committee's resumed hearing on Wednesday, August 2, 2023, a principal manager at the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Osage Clement, and representatives of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, led by its executive director, Mr. Ogbogu Ukoha, appeared before the committee. The CBN principal manager said that the current foreign exchange regime, which is a unified exchange rate, has had an impact on the price of fuel.
So the multiple prices is what the regime doesn't want, and then CBN has to move from their own original official price to the current price. This action means that those who were importing, who were able to make import through official price, through a CBN price, now have to adjust their own prices up because the dollar they were getting at line 460, 500 from CBN has moved to about 750, 800. So this difference has to be accounted for in the cost of the underlying products, which is the tradable goods. In this case, we are talking of fuel. So it is not surprising that the pump price has to adjust to align with the current price at which the porters are sourcing for dollars.
We can make the right extrapolations and conclusions.
The executive director of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Mr. Ogbogu Ukoha, on his part, while making presentation before the committee, spoke on the position of the NMDPRA as regards the price of petrol.
Everybody looks to the regulator and asks what is our role in relation to pricing. The PIA does not require us to fix prices, and we're not fixing any prices. With the regulation, the market forces of demand and supply will determine what prices of products will be. However, the same PIA has given the authority quite enormous powers to intervene to avoid cartel building, which is why we've introduced competition, to also deal with illegal profiteering, and more importantly, to work with FCCPC in relation to consumer protection. And those are powers that we take very serious.
If we reduce those components or suspend or whatever, a suggested pump price, let's look at it.
If you, like a supplier, makes investments in storage and forward integration transport, his economies of scale may improve ultimately than the person that just takes one narrow position. So it's a question of efficiency ultimately. And we're looking forward to the time that those who have, when the competition stabilizes, prices, it will begin to impact on prices. And those who have high prices, this is what open market system is. If others are selling at 500 and you want to sell at 600, nobody will buy from you. It means you're out of business.
This is where we'll wrap up this week's edition of the program. Meanwhile, we are always glad to hear from you as we task our elected representatives to work for the good of the nation. So keep your questions and comments coming in, and many thanks for being a part of the program as always. Join us again next week on the Parliamentary channel of the NTA for more reports of activities of the House of Representatives. Remember to stay safe always. Enjoy the rest of your day.